Raise your hand for questions. All right, we'll start with Ryan Shumpert and then go to Ben McKee.
Yeah, how much competition has there been in the outfield throughout kind of the practice leading into the season, and how much pressure is there kind of to perform just knowing how many other solid options there are out there?
It's actually quite interesting on how many guys we could go out there and compete at a really high level. But it's a lot different from my freshman year where, that we were begging on people to get out there to be able to compete, But now that the talent around me has, increased, it's always a grind to compete day in and day out. And, Coach V does a great job of giving everybody his chance, no matter how long you've been here or who you are, the right person will play. And in order to be competitive in this league, that's how it should be.
Evan, just how does the wrist feel, and how nice was it to get out there and kind of play a full game, so to speak?
Yeah, I've been itching to get out there, but Woody has done a great job, our trainer, of, you know, having me prepared, and he's working just as hard as me, trying to get this thing healthy. But it's on the come up. I'm starting to feel, like I'm ready, and with the help of Woody, I should be, having this thing behind me.
And we'll go to Wes and then Mike.
Yeah, Evan, I know that you've been a guy who you've had some emotion to at times in your career, different moments, but Drew looks like a guy who just really feeds off of emotion. How would you describe sort of him as a player? When he's kind of, it just seems like he's always doing something.
He's the guy that you never think he's scared, you never think he's nervous, and he used those emotions to his benefits. Every once in a while you could see him getting too emotional and messing up because he's worried about the wrong or things that happened in the past. But he's a guy that he's going to play with fire, and his emotions, it almost helps him in a way to where he's not afraid of anybody, and it doesn't matter who's on the mound. He's not afraid of the big scene, and he's going to step up to the plate and give it his all, and you're going to hear about it. And it's fun to play behind, and it's fun to be that guy's teammate.
You think maybe being his size that leads to that a little bit, because he's not I know he's gotten bigger in the offseason, but he's not the biggest guy out there.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that's a part of it, but it's also he's a grinder. You can tell he's got some muscle in that little body that he's got, and I think his emotion comes from no one's going to outwork him in the weight room, no one's going to outwork him in the cage, and he almost takes that as like a kind of like a way to make himself better than everyone, and it's like a confidence booster. And I think he uses that to his benefits.
Evan, I don't know how much you got to face Connor Housley last year or this year in the preseason, but from what you've seen or experienced with him, how is he a different pitcher this year than he was last year?
It's weird to see Connor Housley on the mound in an actual game, because his fall was not very good his freshman year, but he is a completely different pitcher, and I'm glad to see him improving and being the guy that he should be, because we're going to need him. If we want to do the things that we want to do and go as far as we want to go, we're going to need guys like Connor Housley and Mark McLaughlin to, be phenom arms, and we're going to need them to really be able to pitch in some big situations. And he's got the stuff, as you can tell. His velo's jumped up, his control's there, and I think it's only going to get better.
When you say he was bad, why was he so bad? And what do you think is the biggest difference you've seen?
I think I think his work ethic wasn't as good as it is now. I think he wasn't mentally as tough as he is now. And I really think going through the failure that he did, it made him the player he is now, because the dude's got electric stuff. He used this quarantine time to, turn himself into a draft guy, which he did get drafted out of high school, but it was off projections. But he's finally starting to get into the projection that he's supposed to be in. So
we'll go to Troy next, and then Tim.
You mentioned that competition for outfield reps and whatnot. I guess, is it frustrating that in that competition you hurt your wrist swinging in the cage and stuff, and how much do you guys have to temper maybe the work you guys put in to make sure that doesn't happen?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. I felt like going into the spring, senior year, I felt like this was kind of a time to take control of, a young outfield that is around me. And I feel like I could really help, guide the younger guys like Booker, Gilby, and Beck. But it is frustrating to have this little setback. But it's also nice to see Gilbert and Beck and even see Scott, and even Booker, step up in some big moments. So it helps to know that we can win games without me, but selfishly, I think I can help contribute to the team as well. So
Evan, 35 runs in 2 days. What does that do for you guys, confidence wise, at the plate early in the season like this?
it definitely helps. Coming off of Georgia Southern, we did not play very well, and it's no surprise to anyone. But being able to come out of there with 3 wins it's a big weekend. But this is definitely a good confidence booster. As you can tell, Luke Lipsius, he kind of got a little hot tonight, and we're going to need guys like that. Pete Durkee, he's starting to see it a little bit. Max Ferguson, he's starting to pick it up. And these are all guys that we're going to need if we want to win. And seeing them be able to produce and, in a week like this, it gives us confidence for this weekend. And I think it's going to portray to, some nice loose swings this weekend.
All right, Ben, did you have one more?
Yes, please.
All right, we'll finish with you.
Evan, I know you've been asked a couple times and you talked about some of those guys in the outfield, but it's a completely different looking outfield this year with two big bats gone. Just how have you seen Beck and Gilbert and Scott improve this year? And why is Booker able to come in and have some success and also leave an impression on Coach V?
Beck and Gilbert, those are guys that, as soon as they stepped on campus as freshmen, I knew that they were going to be guys that we needed eventually. And I actually told them the other day, like, if we want to make it to Omaha, we're going to need them to produce and, middle of the lineup and for power and for big time situations. And to be able to see C. Scott turn into, the guy he is now, be able to kind of find himself, to be able to hit the ball with power, but also use his speed and in big moments. It's really nice. But Kyle Booker, he's as talented as anybody in that dugout. He's got some crazy pop at the plate. He's got great hands. But once he settles in and once he gets his confidence going, you're going to see something special out of that dude. And I'm excited to see it from the start.